Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just gonna go ahead and resume the recording, just for the rules of decorum. No outbursts, no speaking out of turn, there will be a chance for you to make your public comment heard. General public gets 2 minutes, district chairs get 3. And you're welcome to come up and do that. If you have any other comments, please email them to dspublichearings.gov. And I'm gonna go ahead and resume the recording. Okay.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Today is our Planning Commission administrative hearing. It is April 2nd and it's 5 o'clock. I'm Dustin Wright. I'm the hearing officer for today's items. We have 2 items on our agenda. And I'll go ahead and start with item number 1. Brighton Development requests project plan approval for a new 4,500 square foot multi-tenant commercial building in the SC3 Regional Shopping Center zone, located at approximately 431 West, 2310 North, Carterville neighborhood. Nancy has this item.
Okay. So, first thing, there is a correction on the staff report. It actually is not 4,500 square feet. It is 3,908 that was brought to our attention. So this is a project that is designed for multi-tenants. It is in the area where the mix or River's Edge development. It was approved as a project as a whole in a project plan in 2019. The project plan number is noted in the staff report. The property is zoned for regional shopping center. The building is 1 story with a height of 24 feet, and the application has received CRC approval. And this is the elevations and the landscape, and staff recommends approval of this new commercial building.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Nancy. And I'll now give the applicant some time to go over anything else they'd like to add. Is Sean Porter here? No. Okay. I'll then open it up to public comment. I'll first go to any district or neighborhood chairs that would like to speak on this item. Seeing none, is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on this item? All right, seeing none, I'll go ahead and close public hearing on item number 1. I've reviewed this project and reviewed the staff report that's been presented, and I don't see any issues moving forward with this, so I will move to approve the item number 1 with a it's been presented by staff and the staff report and the findings of fact. So go on to item number 2 now. Item number 2, Guilford A Rand requests a conditional use permit to allow reception center use SLU 6299 in an existing commercial building in the CG General Commercial Zone located at 1595 North Freedom Boulevard. Nancy also has this item. Okay.
So this current property is in the general commercial zone, and it has been vacant for a period of time. The building was constructed in 1978 and has been used by several different automotive related companies. The request is for a bazaar to hold 3 times per year a handmade craft market. This is the applicant statement, held in the spring, fall, and winter. And outside of those retail market events, they plan to use the building as an event space for gatherings. This is the copy of the location. This is a conditional use permit, and because it currently is only 22 parking spaces available. The conditions that we recommend approval would be that the business owner obtains the proper business license and that the current capacity of any event be capped at 88 individuals because that parking space limit is 22.
Thank you, Nancy. Is the applicant here for this item? Yes. Okay. Would you like to come forward to the microphone here at the table, and if you'd like to add anything to what's been presented?
Sure. My name is Stephen Isaacson. I'm with the architect's office. The applicant is working with some of the neighboring businesses to see if we can get some shared parking to help with that occupancy limit. Okay. You need me to repeat that?
Yes, please.
Okay.
We cannot hear you.
So we are working with some of the neighboring businesses to get some shared parking allowed and to see if we can get an agreement there. Provo has a lot of marriages and weddings, and so we feel like this is a really good fit for the community. And this particular store has some beautiful overhead glass doors that would work really well for an event center as well. And one correction was it was listed originally as an A2 occupancy. This will be an A3 occupancy, which is very similar. And also allows event centers.
Okay, thank you. So you can stay up here. I might have some questions for you in a minute, but first, I'll go ahead and open up to public hearing portion now. So if there's anyone that's a neighborhood chair or district chair that would like to speak. Anybody from the district or neighborhood chairs?
Neighborhood Executive Board,
Okay,
Chair for the neighborhood.
okay. If you'd like to state your name, and then you'll have 3 minutes.
David Alders, Provo City. I live in the Carterville neighborhood. Regarding to the location at 1595 North Freedom Boulevard, which the neighborhood calls it the old Big Old Tire, because that was the last business that was in there. As I've talked to the neighborhood and received over 12 emails, the unanimous decision of this neighborhood is we do not need another event center in that part of Carterville neighborhood. We already have the Experian in Macy's, and we have parking issues. I will read some of the comments that I've gotten. All are concerned that there's not enough parking at this location for an event center, and it will lead to even more parking on and in part of the neighborhood behind the proposed location of this event center. People are concerned about the excessive noise. We have the Experian right there in Macy's, and when those go late, people do complain about the noise, and they complain about people walking back to their cars, being revelers and that disturbing the neighborhood after 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night when these events happen. One neighbor asked, well, what happens if you have both these event centers at the same time having events? There really won't be parking. And we see that whenever BYU has a football game, we're close enough that you can't even drive down the roads in the neighborhood because of all the parking of extra people in the neighborhood. We have handicapped people and lots of children, and 300 has become an extremely dangerous road because of all the on-street parking, where I believe last week someone was hit trying to cross the road of the speed and the narrowness of the road with the parking. And we feel that all these conditions would be exacerbated by having another event center in the neighborhood. That's basically the consensus from that part of the neighborhood.
All right, thank you very much. Is there anybody else from the public that would like to speak to this item? Please state your name.
I also have a concern. I live behind where the
Will you
proposed
state,
event
please
center would
state
be?
your
Oh,
name and address?
Shelley Jensen. We live on 300 West. I have talked to several neighbors. When they approved the credit union there, they were supposed to close off the alleyway. And there is a direct alleyway from where that would be, going through and going back through all those neighbors' homes. So somebody could literally park on the street, walk through neighbors' houses, which we're already having a problem with, and going down that alleyway. And that is part of the same problems that they shut down the event center that was over by Quick Quack Car Wash because they were having people partying, doing drugs and so forth in that other part of their alleyway. I want to know what kind of security we have, you know, because Provo has promised us things and we have not gotten it as neighbors. We do have an issue with parking. I have personally lost 2 vehicles out in front of my home to being totaled because of high speeds and people coming around the corner. We can't, we are getting encroached upon and people think, oh, I'll just go drive in that neighborhood because literally all the parking next to this event is towed parking. So if they park there, they'll get towed. They park over on our street, they don't get towed. And yes, there is a gentleman that's paraplegic that lives right behind this. And I'm sure he doesn't want late night problems either. There's a lot of people who literally will live. So we do have security concerns.
Yeah, thank you very much. Is there anybody else from the public that would like to speak to this item?
And we were just made aware of this, by the way. It wasn't sent to anybody's homes. The neighborhood was not notified.
Thank you. All right, no other comments? Thank you, guys. I'll go ahead and close the public hearing portion of this. So no further comments from the public unless I call upon you. I do have some questions for the applicant. So I took a look at the aerial. I don't know if we can pull an aerial of this site. Right there. Just there, so. Yeah. Yeah. So zoom in a little bit more for me there. So if you can see the parking stalls, that kind of gave me some concerns as far as how access to those stalls is going to function with a use like this. Could you kind of describe how you see that working and being a safe situation?
Yeah, we would need to restripe some of those stalls and have a striped area out to the public way. The sidewalks around there. Are there, I think there's not sidewalks along on this street, but there is on the north side. Not sure.
What was the question about the property?
Sorry.
The public comments are closed, so it's not a discussion, but I can repeat stuff. So I'm just asking about the parking. He's given me information as far as how it's laid out.
Yes.
So I see currently there's angled parking and one way down there and no way back out. Is that how it's designed?
I think there's an entrance on this primary street and there's an entrance on the north and on the east. The way that it's currently drawn. You're talking behind the building in the west.
Yeah, so I'm asking when you pull in and you go down to those angled parking stalls and park there, how are you gonna be able to get out of there without backing all the way back down that drive aisle?
Can I speak to that?
Are
I
you?
would.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. What was your name?
So, Richard Bingham.
Okay.
So we're working with, our next door neighbor to create a pass through. And it would involve some restriping on his side and our side to allow cars, you drive down the one way, then you'd be able to turn left
The neighbor to the
to
south?
the south, yeah. So there would be a one-way exit out of that angled parking.
But currently you haven't worked through those.
We've had 2 discussions about it and he's very much open to it. We just don't have any formal written, like we were trying to get to this meeting, but we don't have that in place yet.
Okay. Yeah, so to me, that's one of the big issues I see as far as the layout and the proposed use. Conditional use for this type of space. I see that being a very important thing to get that worked out before we move forward. We want to make sure that it's a safe environment, at the site. And obviously, as we've heard from the neighbors, concerns about safety and all of that as well with additional traffic. So, with this site having been originally designed as a auto repair or auto tire type of establishment, it's kind of laid out a bit different than what you'd see for a reception hall. So I want to make sure that we get those things figured out before we move forward with it. So I don't think tonight that I can make a decision on it. I'd like to continue this item and have you guys go back and work through the parking issues that are still there and work through some of those agreements with the neighbor and then bring that back to the city for review before we bring it back to another hearing. Specifically, what do we want to see on angled parking? Is it's going to be one way. The code only allows one direction if you have angled parking. So if you're coming in, from the street there, you're going to have another exit and then circulate through that other property if that's kind of what you've been working on. Parallel parking needs to make sure it has enough space to be able to parallel park and not hit these other cars. So I see those as some issues to work through as well. I don't know if I saw much landscaping on site plan. So that would be another issue, creating these parking stalls. There's a landscape requirement that goes along with that as well to help provide aesthetics and shading and things like that. So at this time, I'd recommend, I'm going to continue this item and recommend that you get with staff and work through some of those parking and landscaping issues and work through those issues with the neighbor as far as agreements go. And then once you have that, let's bring it back and have another discussion there. So that's a decision. Item number 2 is that it's continued. And there are no other items on tonight's agenda, so we will go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thank you guys for coming out and for the comments and feedback, and it's continued, so it will come back in the future. So as far as noticing goes, anytime there's a public hearing, if you're within 500 feet of the property, you'll receive a notice. If not, then you'll want to just keep an eye out for public agendas that are posted. There'll be signs posted at the property so that you can